Before Greece, before Rome, there was a people who ruled the sea, traders, explorers, and builders of empire. They called themselves the Phoenicians. From the coasts of Lebanon to the Pillars of Hercules, their ships carried the treasures of the ancient world. But behind their sails came ambition, rivalry, and war. From the ashes of Tyre rose a new power, Carthage, rich, fearless, unstoppable. But across the sea, another empire was rising, Rome. They fought across continents, from Sicily to Spain, from Africa to the gates of Rome. And in the end, only one would survive. Their cities have fallen, their ships are gone, but their legacy still sails with us today. They gave us the alphabet. They gave us the sea. They were the Phoenicians. Before Rome ruled the Mediterranean, before Greece wrote its legends, there was another power, small, mysterious, and forgotten by time. They had no great armies, no vast empire, but they ruled the waves. From the rocky coasts of Lebanon, they sailed across the ancient world, bringing not conquest, but connection. They were the Phoenicians, the masters of the sea. The Phoenicians were not a single nation, but a network, a chain of coastal cities, Tyre, Sidon, and Byblos. Each was independent, ruled by its own king, yet bound together by trade, language, and the sea. The world called them Canaanites. The Greeks named them Phoenicians, meaning purple people, because from the sea they made color, and from color they made wealth. From thousands of sea snails, the Phoenicians created Tyrian purple, a dye so rare that only kings could afford it. Each gram required hundreds of shells, crushed and boiled in secrecy. Pharaohs, Persian emperors, and Roman generals all paid fortunes for it. This was their gold, the color of divine power. From purple cloth, the Phoenicians built their empire, not of land, but of trade. Their ships sailed farther than anyone had dared, from Egypt's Nile to Spain's silver mines, even beyond the Pillars of Hercules into the Atlantic. They carried cedar wood, glass, and fine fabrics, and in return they brought gold, silver, ivory, and new ideas. Wherever they docked, they built colonies, not with soldiers, but with merchants. The sea was their empire, the wind their ally, and trade their weapon. But even great traders need new horizons. From their western journeys, a new city was born, Carthage. Founded, according to legend, by Queen Dido, Carthage would grow into the mightiest Phoenician colony, and one day challenge the very heart of Rome itself. But that is another story, one of war, betrayal, and fire. The Phoenicians didn't conquer the world with swords. They conquered it with sails, trade, and knowledge. They connected the ancient world and shaped the one we live in today. Next episode, the Purple Empire, how a color built an economy. If you love forgotten civilizations, like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss part 2. In the ancient world, power was measured not only by gold or armies, but by color. One color stood above all others, deep, royal, immortal. The world called it Tyrian purple, and it was the lifeblood of Phoenicia. From the coastlines of Tyre and Sidon, a new kind of empire rose, not of conquest, but of commerce. The secret of the purple dye came from the sea itself, the murex snail. It took thousands of shells to create a single gram of dye. The process smelled terrible, but the result was worth more than gold. Each cloth dipped in Tyrian purple became a symbol of divine power, worn by kings, priests, and emperors. For centuries, the Phoenicians guarded this secret as fiercely as any army guarded its walls. With this dye, Phoenicia didn't just sell fabric, it sold status. The Egyptian pharaohs wrapped themselves in it. Assyrian kings demanded it as tribute. Greek legends spoke of it as a gift from the gods. Every ship that left Tyre carried not just goods, but influence. and every foreign ruler who wore that color carried a piece of Phoenicia's legacy. Wealth from purple trade fueled innovation. The Phoenicians pioneered glassmaking, shipbuilding, and navigation by the stars. They mapped coastlines, named winds, and founded colonies from Cyprus to Spain. Their language, written in simple characters instead of symbols, became the foundation of the alphabet. Every letter you read today carries the DNA of Phoenicia. Yet, wealth invites danger. Empires like Assyria and Babylon saw Phoenicia's riches and came to claim them. Tyre was besieged many times, but always rebuilt, always traded, always sailed again. The spirit of the Phoenicians could not be conquered. Even when their cities fell, their influence sailed west, to a new city that would carry their torch, Carthage. From the color of kings to the letters we write, the Phoenicians painted the world in purple. Their empire was not built on land, but written across the waves. Next episode, Carthage, the legacy of the Phoenicians. If you love uncovering the stories behind ancient empires, like, subscribe, and ring the bell to keep the legacy alive. Beyond the Mediterranean horizon, where Africa meets the sea, the Phoenicians built something extraordinary. They called it Carthage, the new city. To history, it became Carthage, the western jewel of Phoenicia, and one day, the greatest rival Rome would ever know. Founded by settlers from Tyre around 814 BCE, Carthage inherited the blood of the sea. Its merchants mastered the waves, reaching beyond the Pillars of Hercules, exploring the Atlantic coast of Africa and even distant Britain. Carthage was not just a city, it was a maritime empire, born from trade, driven by ambition. From North Africa to Spain, Carthaginian colonies became beacons of Phoenician culture. They traded tin, silver, gold, and ideas, blending Eastern craftsmanship with Western opportunity. At the heart of Carthage stood the goddess Tanit, protector of the city, symbol of fertility and fortune. And under her gaze, Carthage grew unstoppable. Carthage's strength lay not only in wealth, but in organization. Its navy, the mightiest in the Mediterranean, could launch hundreds of warships in hours. Its merchants formed a web of influence, controlling trade routes and pricing goods across continents. While others conquered with armies, Carthage conquered with commerce. Yet power invites conflict. As Greece expanded westward and Rome rose from the Italian plains, Carthage stood between them and the riches of the sea. Sicily became their first battlefield, a prize that would ignite centuries of war. The world was about to witness the clash of two great powers, Rome and Carthage, in the Punic Wars. From a colony of traders to a kingdom of sailors, Carthage rose to challenge destiny itself. But even the greatest empires must face the storm. Next episode, the Punic Wars, Rome versus Carthage. Two empires, two worlds, one sea between them. For over a century, Rome and Carthage fought for control of the Mediterranean. It was a conflict of destiny, and the world would call it the Punic Wars. The First Punic War began in 264 BCE over a single island, Sicily. Rome had no navy, but it learned quickly. Within years, Roman engineers built a fleet and turned land soldiers into sailors. The sea became their new battlefield, and for the first time, Carthage faced a rival that could not be bought or outsailed. The Romans invented a deadly weapon, the corvus, a boarding bridge. Sea battles turned into land battles on water, Rome's strength. After 20 years of brutal war, Carthage was forced to surrender Sicily. But this was only the beginning. 20 years later, a young general rose in Carthage's new colonies, Hannibal Barca. His oath was simple, never to be a friend of Rome. In 218 BCE, Hannibal did the impossible, crossing the Alps with elephants, soldiers, and vengeance. The Romans called it madness. History called it genius. At Cannae, Hannibal achieved one of the greatest military victories in history. With fewer men, he destroyed an entire Roman army. 50,000 Romans fell in a single day. But Rome refused to die. It rebuilt, adapted, and struck back, led by a general of its own, Scipio Africanus. In 202 BCE at Zama, Scipio met Hannibal face to face. Two minds, two empires, one final duel. When the dust settled, Carthage was broken, its fleets destroyed, its empire lost. Rome had won the Second Punic War, and the Mediterranean belonged to her. Carthage survived, but as a shadow of its former glory. Yet Rome would not forgive, and in time it would return to finish what began. The Third Punic War would bring total destruction. Next episode, the fall of Carthage, fire and salt. If you love history that shaped the world, like, subscribe, and ring the bell to join us for Part 5, the final battle for Carthage. Once Carthage ruled the waves. Its ships carried gold, glass, and the purple of kings. But now, only ashes drift across its harbors. The final chapter of Carthage had begun. After two Punic Wars, Carthage still stood, rebuilt, trading again, alive.
But in Rome, one voice would not forget. Cato the Elder ended every speech with the same words. Carthago delenda est. Carthage must be destroyed.
And in 149 BCE, Rome listened. Rome demanded the impossible, that Carthage abandon its city and move inland. The Carthaginians refused. They would not surrender their home, their gods, or their sea. And so began the Third Punic War, a siege that would last 3 long, brutal years. Starved, outnumbered, and surrounded, Carthage fought with the fury of a dying god. Men, women, even slaves joined the defense. They turned temples into fortresses, ships into barricades. Every street became a battlefield. But Rome's legions were relentless. Led by Scipio Aemilianus, grandson of the man who defeated Hannibal, they closed in, inch by inch. In 146 BCE, the walls of Carthage fell. For 6 days the city burned. Fire consumed the temples of Tanit, the docks, the palaces, everything that once made Carthage great. When it was over, 700 years of Phoenician legacy lay in ruins. Rome ordered the survivors enslaved, and as legend tells, scattered salt upon the earth, so that nothing would grow where Carthage once stood. Yet Carthage did not truly die. Its language lived on. Its trade routes became Rome's highways. Its alphabet shaped the world. From the Phoenicians came the letters we write, the ships we sail, and the idea that the sea belongs to those who dare to cross it. Carthage fell, but its spirit endures in every word, every voyage, every civilization born after. The legacy of the Phoenicians lives on. If you believe history should never be forgotten, like, subscribe, and ring the bell to keep the ancient world alive.